Hey guys, Bobby here. So, as you all know, I am a huge fan of the horror genre, and I think one of the best horror trilogies around is the Evil Dead trilogy, starting with Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and The Army of Darkness. Now, I think they're great because each film stands out by themselves. None of them, are a copy and paste sequels. Much like the Friday the 13th franchise or the Halloween franchise, where you more or less know what will happen each time you watch a sequel. Whereas Evil Dead is like this dark, brooding, unintentionally funny horror film. Whereas Evil Dead 2 is just a very blatant dark comedy, and then Army of Darkness just turns into action adventure comedy with very little horror in it at all. But they're just still very fun. If mainly due to the duo of director Sam Raimi and actor, what the hell is his name? Oh my God, Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell. I'm a huge fan of this trilogy. This is probably one of my all-time favorite trilogies. It's right up there with Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Back to the Future. I think, yeah, I even got one of their shirts for school. I believe this is the design for the remake. But well. And speaking of the remake, I picked this up today on Blu-ray. I'm a bit late. Came out on Tuesday. So obviously I'm 3 days late to the party, but I haven't had a chance to watch this on Blu-ray yet. Like I said, I barely got back from the Walmart, picked this up. I wanted to get the Steelbook from Target, all sold out. I needed to have this. I'm very impatient, so I just got the Blu-ray from Walmart. So I'm not going to be talking about the Blu-ray because, like I said, I haven't watched it yet. But I am going to be talking about the movie. And let me say that this has got to be one of the best horror remakes I have ever watched. There have been, several very good ones. We got Cronenberg's The Fly, we got Carpenter's The Fog, not The Fog, The Thing. Those are two very good remakes. And then the '80s remake of The Blob, which is completely different than the Steve McQueen original. But then we enter the 21st century where remakes just hit this all-time low, and we got terrible outings like Nightmare on Elm Street. We got what are some other terrible remakes? Uh, I used to really hate the Texas Chainsaw remake, but I recently watched it and now I can appreciate it. It's nowhere near as good as Texas Chainsaw 1 or 2. But it's still pretty good. But then again, I'm a fan of Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is a very unpopular opinion. Um, so aside from the terrible remakes, we got some pretty good ones. We got the Dawn of the Dead remake from Zack Snyder, not Jack Snyder, which is a decent remake. It's not the best, but whenever I watch it, it's very exhilarating. I feel like Valve got a lot of inspiration for Left 4 Dead from Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake. We have Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is another remake I used to really hate, which I can now enjoy and appreciate a lot more than I used to when I was younger. However, I feel that Evil Dead from director Fede Olivares, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is the best horror remake of the 21st century. I think the best horror remake has to be a tie between The Fly and Thing, but that's beside the point. So this remake roughly follows Sam Raimi's original, and I say roughly simply because it takes a basic premise. Five friends go to a cabin in like this secluded place. They find a book, they read it aloud, and all hell breaks loose. Literally. We have like demon possessions. We have like all this shit going on. However, whereas the original Evil Dead, centered around these five friends who are out there to have fun. The remake is more about these friends who go out there to help our lead protagonist's sister overcome her very, very serious drug addiction. So this film is a lot more serious in tone than The Evil Dead is. The Evil Dead is your classic, teenagers go out in the woods and get killed by something, Now, that was made popular by Friday the 13th, and all those slashers of the 80s. Um, so yeah, so that's the basic plot. I think it's four people this time. We got our protagonist, who is your typical hunky 27-year-old dude who left home at, early, and no, my bad, it's five kids. Who left home early, and then you have his girlfriend, then you have his friend and his girlfriend, and then you have our protagonist's sister, who like I said, is heavily addicted to drugs, and they have resorted to making her quit cold turkey. So they take her out to the secluded cabin. They end up finding the Necronomicon, which is not a spoiler. We also did a Necronomicon in the goddamn previews, and really from there, it's not a completely different beast, but it does set itself apart from Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, and I really appreciate that. I hate it when we get remakes, and it's like and it's really just a pathetic copy and paste remake of the original. That's how a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street felt like. That's how parts of Texas Chainsaw felt like, and I think the reason why I loved the Friday the 13th remake so much was just because it felt like its own Friday film. It was obviously a retelling. Well, not even a retelling, just really a combination of the first, second, and third films. But when you watch it, it's it's different. It's still the same basic. Jason's gonna go out and kill a bunch of sex hungry pothead teens. But but still, The Evil Dead sets itself apart, and I really appreciate that. Fede Oliveira's direction in this film is superb. I love the way his cinematography. I loved the way just really everything came together. There's a nice dark tint to this film, and while I hate it in video games because every goddamn film has to be darker than my fucking Mummy over here. I don't know why every goddamn game has to be this dark, but the Evil Dead's color scheme fits it very nice. It's very muted, so I anticipate the Blu-ray looking just fantastic. I love the writing in this film. There wasn't a single character I hated in this film. There wasn't any why did you do that, you goddamn idiot moments that we always have in these films. And most of all, I love the special effects. I hate the 21st century right now just because CG has become so cheap that's the go-to system. We see it every day. We see it in The Walking Dead. We see it in Ninja Assassin. That was the worst one. One of them was CG blood, and The Evil Dead has none of that. Evil Dead is almost completely real down and dirty special effects. We have real gore effects. You don't have that god awful just CGI blood that we're always seeing. Another director I love for using practical effects is Adam Green and his Hatchet films. And this one uses practical effects almost exclusively. Obviously there's going to be some CG, obviously, but God, I love that. Okay, this film, I have to warn you, is one of these films where if you're easily grossed out by gore, get the hell away from it. This film is just so goddamn gory. And as a horror film, I love it. However, my mother, she hated this damn film because of how gory it was. Another thing, while the advertising campaigns were brilliant, get ready for the most horrifying horror experience ever. Yeah, no, this film was not scary at all. At least for me, and even for non-horror films. I saw this film in theaters with my sister and her husband, and her husband hated it simply because it didn't meet his expectations, for horror. And if you're expecting that stay away from it as well. However, if you are a hardcore horror fan, if you love, fun horror films that, you know, that are basically films like this. If you love the original Evil Dead, you will love the remake. I promise you that. Unless you're weird as hell and you just hate remakes like I used to. Yeah. So I highly recommend Evil Dead. If I had to give it a rating, I'm gonna jump around different rating systems. So now, I'm gonna give it a letter grade, and I'm gonna give it a B plus. I give it a B plus, if only because it felt a bit rushed at times. I kind of wish we had some more room to breathe with the characters. However, this is a horror film. That's expected. And, yeah. So, a very, very solid B plus. Like I'm not even kidding. This damn B plus is teetering right next to that A minus. You know, maybe if I had to give it like a number grade, where like a 95 is like no, more like it like a 94 to 96 is an A minus, and 96 above is an A, is the perfect A. I have to give this thing 83.99. That's how good it is. This is my favorite film of the year so far. Anyways, there is still some more coming up. And really, this is just making me excited to own Star Trek Into Darkness on Blu-ray, and even The Lone Ranger. Let me go on a tangent here really quick. Critics are tearing apart The Lone Ranger, and I don't understand why. For some reason, I don't know what people expected. Once I heard that Jerry Bruckheimer was, producing this film, I expected a long-ass, explosion, action-heavy, fun adventure film, just like the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I don't care what you say about the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels. Those are fun action adventure films, and that's what The Lone Ranger is. So I am not embarrassed to say that The Lone Ranger is probably my second all-time favorite film of this year so far. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, rate, whatever the hell you fucking YouTube kids like to do. And I highly recommend you pick up The Evil Dead, preferably on Blu-ray. However, the DVD will do you just fine as well. See you later, guys. Bye.